All right, well, welcome to episode 43 of the Back Pew Podcast. I am Will Waldrop. This is your co-host, Ethan Munoz. Munoz.
I really don't like that. I really don't like that.
Hey, whenever you introduced the show the other day, I think I realized I've said your name for all our friendship. Say your name.
Well, like correctly or
yeah,
the right way?
Correctly.
Munoz.
Munoz. I never say it right. So anyway, I apologize.
But the way that I even say it wrong just because I don't want to have to deal with people going, oh, are you trying to say it in Spanish? You're not Mexican. You're not brown. You can't do it. I'm like,
yeah, easy, Tiger. So anyway, this is episode 43. We appreciate you guys showing up here today. We hope you had a fabulous day, or we hope you have a fantastic day. It is Saturday when you're probably listening to this because we release every episode on Saturdays. At 6 a.m. So thank you guys for tuning in. We have a great show for you. Actually, we have one more episode after this. It's not that the podcast is over. It's just that we're going on a hiatus for the Christmas holidays so we can kind of spend some of the time, because I don't know if you know this or not, listener, but it takes quite a bit of time to actually put a podcast together. We appreciate you guys, but we're excited. We have a good show for you today. Ethan, you just turned 26, buddy. So how's it feel, man? Happy birthday from the podcast.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. How did it feel? Did you have a good birthday?
I had a great birthday. It was a long birthday because it was on Monday, and I was off that day. So I had like a 3-day weekend for my birthday.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that you were off Monday. I would have asked you to do some work or something.
Yeah, no. I would have said no.
So anyway, so you're 26. Did you feel a year older? Do you feel more mature? Do you feel like what happened? Nothing? Was it special? Do you like birthdays?
I like birthdays. It's like, you know how holidays are like holidays for everybody? Like birthdays are like holidays for just you, you know?
Right, yeah.
But they're kind of low key too, because it's like more important than in my opinion. Now, Haley might feel differently, but it's more important than an anniversary, but it's not like as important as like Christmas or something. I don't know. It's a weird one, and it kind of comes and goes. The feelings, the happiness comes and goes. Each year is different, you know. But this year I don't feel like older. I feel old anyway because my back hurts and I'm 26, and I'm like, well, my back hurts, so I feel old anyway. I make dad jokes all the time with my family, so I feel old anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really care about my grooming. Obviously, look at my face. So I feel old anyway. I kind of say what I think when I think it. And I don't really care about all the youngsters that get all mad. And I'm
going to clip your face.
I drive with a lot of anger, and I have road rage really bad. But it comes and goes. So, I mean, again, I feel old anyway. I'm just an old soul. Somebody called you an old soul. Haley actually called me an old soul and meant it. So, no, I don't feel older. No.
So, do you have any special goals or anything that you're looking forward to in 26, or is it just same old? Just now you're technically another number up in the scale?
No, I have goals, but I feel like in my head they're more like for 2020. But I shouldn't feel that way because my birthday's towards the end of the year. So
why wait, man? Optimism and motivation says start today.
No, it's not that. I mean, you're right. I'm agreeing with you. It's just that whenever, you say, do you have goals? I'm like, oh, not really. But then I start thinking about the time frame of 2020. It's like, yeah, actually I do. So,
I mean, it's right around the corner. It might as well be 2020 right now. I mean, that's how I feel about it, because we only have 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
6, 5. Yeah, it's here, buddy. I can't believe it. 2019 might be the most, expedient year that I have ever experienced. I mean, it's just gone by faster than I can even understand. Matter of fact, this whole podcast thing yesterday in my memories that Facebook puts up, it showed me going to a podcast. Ollie and I went to go sit in on a podcast and basically kind of learn what kind of equipment they were using, just learn some things. And yeah, man, that was a year ago. So we've been planning the podcast thing since 1 year or longer. So
wow.
It's pretty cool, man. We're having a good time.
This year has flown by, but I feel like 2018 flew by faster.
Well, time flies when you're having fun, I guess.
I mean, I guess.
That's what they say. I should get that.
When you're sleeping a lot because you're really tired.
I wonder what.
Because you're old, like me.
Yeah. I've been working on staying up, or excuse me. I've been working on going to bed earlier so I can wake up earlier. It's really difficult, by the way, because I'm like a night owl. And so to restrain myself, have any self-control, it really is difficult, right? Because if I want to get up at 5:30, which is my new goal, so you can ask me about it like in 2 weeks to see how I'm doing.
I'll just text you at 5:30, bro.
Okay, are you up at 5:30 normally?
I try to be.
Really?
I try to be.
Yeah, man, I'm good at like 6:30 or 7, but 5:30. So that 1 extra hour is gonna, like, I really want to spend it journaling. I'm wanting to do this thing where I want to write my first things down, just get up, stand up. Yeah, and just do it so I can catch any lingering thoughts, not leave my room, barely go to the restroom first. Like, I just want to write down any thoughts I have. It may not mean anything. I just want to catch it, and then I want to read, and then I want to pray and worship, and then I want to journal again. So I want to make sure I have a little bit more time. It has drastically continued to get better, like my spiritual life, I guess. It's just vibrant, more vibrant, I guess. So
that's
anyway,
good, man. That's good. Yeah, I try to get up. Like, if I get up at 5:15 when my alarm goes off, or 5:30, after the snooze goes off again, if I'm up before 6, I'm in a great mood. I'm like, yeah, morning time. Let's get it done. If I wake up at 6:01, like I kept hitting the snooze and then get up at like 6:01 or 6:05, I'm in this like dumpy mood. I'm like, man, I don't want to go to work. Like, where's my coffee? Do I really got to wake the kid up? Can't she sleep here all day? Like, ain't nobody coming here, Like, she's got, PJ masks. Why don't we just let her hang out with PJ masks? I don't know, that like, just knowing that I didn't get up when I planned to, it's like, man, you're already a failure.
Well, like today,
I mean, like, that's really harsh, but that's how I think. So.
Yeah, I guess, today I got up at I got up out of the bed at 7. I read before I got out of bed, like for a few minutes.
Did you sleep with your Bible so you had it right next to you when you woke
No,
up?
I just used my phone. I used my phone, and
hey girl.
So I felt like a failure this morning. And, like, I've been in groups of people where we try to hold each other accountable for waking up in the morning and stuff like that, but not for Bible reading, but for other things like prayer and praying in tongues and different things like that. And other things. People just get really judgmental of themselves whenever they're not able to do what they set out to do. And I've always never really understood that, because ever since I got off drugs and really understood, like, I'm the righteousness of God in Christ and I have grace, I don't really like condemn myself for anything. And so anyway, but today I felt really bad for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But how long do you hold on to it?
Huh?
How long do you hold on to how you judge yourself for being a loser? Like all day, or just like 5 seconds?
Until I'm done with my coffee.
Okay. Yeah, the coffee changes everything.
Yeah, coffee makes me a new man. Pastor Rusty calls it Christian cocaine. I think we talked about that before. And if he ever lets me like speak in front of him,
that'll never happen.
No, it's happened before.
I'm just kidding.
And I was too nervous that I didn't make the reference.
Oh,
I thought
nice.
about it. But now, dude, speaking of Pastor Rusty, I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. I'm sure you've had more run-ins in the hallway with Pastor Mark up in Tulsa than I have. But
can't say that I have, buddy. But anyway.
No. But we were at this dinner thing, and me and Haley were working the tables, like working the interest table, so people come and get their little tag, and they fill out a little form, like, oh, I'm so-and-so, here's my email, blah, blah, blah. And they go in and sit down. And Rusty and his wife come in, and me and Haley both make jokes to both of them. Like, I make a joke to Leah, I make a joke to Rusty, Haley makes a joke to Leah, Haley makes a joke to Rusty, and they both of them Rusty ignores us, like, doesn't even look at us. And Leah looks me in the face while she's like been over writing like on the table, and then she looks up like this and just keeps writing. like I was like, and I was like, dude, I got to get a laugh out of these guys. I know,
right? It's so satisfying when you get laughs out of people that don't give it to you all the time.
Seriously, like, I mean, it's like they can give me a pity smile when I'm being a dad in the hallway at church, but they can't give me a pity laugh when it's just me.
I was thinking. Them. I feel you. The other day, I remembered being at this church back in the day when I was going through troubles, and I heard this pastor say to me in my face, "Bless your heart." And I was just like, man, I felt sad for myself too, though, at the time.
That's such an insult.
Yeah, but I deserved it at the time. At the time, I was like, bless my own heart.
Bless my heart.
Well, I'm glad you had a good birthday, man. Glad you had a good birthday.
I mean, I got some good presents. Like,
What'd you get?
So I got KD 12s, some of the newer KD shoes. They're like my first basketball shoes that I didn't have to steal from a family member after they were done with it. So I'm actually pretty excited about that. I got like a Coach wallet.
Okay.
Wow. Something else that I got that I was
big
really
time
pumped about. Man, it's really gonna feel bad about it because I forgot, and I'm gonna remember it later and be like, "Oh, that's what it was."
All right. Well,
yeah. Sorry about that,
listeners. There you have it.
Anticlimactic. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, it sounds like you had a great birthday, man. I had a great weekend. I spent time. Did you see I put Christmas lights up?
No, dude.
You didn't?
We're 500 miles apart. How am I going to see that?
Man, I post on the internet quite a bit, and I would appreciate it if my co-host.
So that I ignore you.
Yeah, I can tell. Anyway, so because you didn't even know that my studio is right across the street from ORU, and I look over the river. But anyway, yeah, man, I put Christmas lights up. It felt good. I felt like it kind of put me in the Christmas spirit because we put so many lights up. I don't know. I'm ready. And there's nothing to really do for Thanksgiving, so. Even though I've been so against people that start Christmas before Thanksgiving, I think this year I'm on the bandwagon.
I'm not ready for that.
I mean,
That's
but
like
why?
A level of whiteness that I can't achieve. I'm not gonna get there.
Yeah, it is a whole level of whiteness.
I will even put Christmas lights up on Thanksgiving, like day. I'm cool with that.
Oh yeah, that's what I grew up doing. So that's like a good family tradition that I kind of like.
Same. It was always the day after for me, but I mean. Like, man, before Christmas, like I walked into my mom's house. Like, sorry, Mom, calling you out. I walked into my mom's house. She was like, happy birthday. And right by the door is the Christmas tree with all the presents. And I'm like, you're already done shopping for Christmas? Like,
wow.
You're already done? And she was like, I'm on a new level. I was like, Mom, don't say that.
I'm on a new level?
And, yeah, she's trying to be lit, you know.
Whoa.
She said, she.
But listen, I have a lot of respect for people that do Christmas shopping this early. Yeah, I do.
I mean, for the shopping, yes, but not the setting up.
Yeah.
You haven't even set up for the meal of Thanksgiving.
I think there is a level of psycho to it.
Or are you not?
There's a level of psycho to it.
There is. So
it's not just whiteness. It's kind of psycho. But at the same time, it's fun. And the lights, I think the Christmas lights outside, you know, especially for me, it was a paid endeavor. Like it was, you want to have them up and ready. You don't want to go over to somebody's house on Thanksgiving and put them out. You want to have them up and ready whenever the time comes. I'm going to go back on Saturday and finish. But yeah, man, crazy stuff. But I love traditions when it comes to Christmas and Thanksgiving. But that's it. That's like pretty much the only traditions we have. Like my favorite tradition is my mom always cooks pigs in a blanket, scrambled eggs, and grits. Man, it's so great. That's my favorite thing to wake up to. It could be 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe we slept really late, but no matter what, my mom's going to cook that. And that's all we're going to eat pretty much all day is just breakfast. You know, because she makes a gang load of pigs in the blanket. Anyway.
My in-laws are the same way, dude. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Freaking love white people. I remember. Oh, what did you get?
I remember the Spider-Man game.
For what?
PlayStation.
Oh,
PlayStation. Spider-Man. I know. I told you it was rather anticlimactic, but if I had listed all 3 things, I'm like, oh, I got these KDs, and I got
it'd been cool.
Wallet, and I got the Spider-Man game, like, and a day off.
Like, man,
like,
yeah,
that was amazing.
That was the best part.
I divided
for sure.
it up, and I've disappointed all of our listeners. So sorry about that.
Yeah, and I'm most disappointed because the game is Spider-Man because you sound like a child.
I am a child.
Okay, well, you're a dad also with a child, so
babies having babies.
What about traditions for you? Do y'all have anything like in your Mexican family?
Whoa.
How do brown people do Christmas? Feliz Navidad. Do y'all sing that together Navidad, and stuff?
Yeah, they do it the same way. It's just I mean, like if you're outside, you're outside. The food's different sometimes, not all the time. Like my dad's side of the family. They do regular. They do the turkey. They do the stuffing. They do the ham. They do the whole 9. But they'll have like a thing of tamales, you know. But my Mexican friends growing up, like one of them they would always have a party on Christmas Eve and have all the family over, and they had like a taco truck lady with her stand, like the comal and everything, just flipping tacos and stuff. So I mean, there's levels, you know. It's like the good, acceptable, and perfect will of God. Like there's okay,
hilarious,
like, acclimated Mexican, super Mexican, and then like not like Southern more than Mexican, more Southern than Mexican. So there's levels. There's levels to the game. But,
levels of brownness.
Yeah. And so, but my side of the family, they do regular stuff. It's more Christmas. That's when like the tamales. There's like a lot of tamales and jokes about opening tamales like for presents because we're that, like that's when all that is the Christmas time. Thanksgiving's Thanksgiving. Got to give that thanks. That Dia de Gracias.
Yeah, I mean, the only tradition I had when I was growing up was Thanksgiving. We put the Christmas tree up at my grandmother's house, and we went to my grandmother's house. But since she passed, a lot of that fell away. Plus, I moved away and live in another state. So it's funny because we were. Let's talk about relationships, but like traditions change, right? Because I had that for so many decades, but then it kind of went away. So now I'm glad it did, though, because once I find a partner and I get married, I can create my own. Hopefully, I don't just have to do what they do. We can create our own. I think it's important to like create your own, right? What do you think?
I mean, no, you're right. That's what I should do, but I didn't. Like my grandparents died, and I just make sure that I see my mom on the holiday, and I go wherever Haley tells me to go. But it's not like a tradition because, if you know anything about Houston, it's huge, and it takes a million years to get from one side to the other. So we go from the south side to the north end to see family on the holidays, right? But we also go out there for their birthdays. Like we're pretty close with, she's close with her family and I go with her and they're nice. And so I try to be as close with them as possible. And it's like, yeah, it's Christmas and that's where we're going today. But in a couple weeks, we could go out there for a bonfire just for gee whiz, cause
just for gee whiz.
Well, I mean, cause Aunt Kathy's making a ham or,
cool.
So I mean, it's not.
I like a good family environment though.
I don't consider it tradition. Haley does.
I got you.
She lives by the sword, dies by the sword. Like she's tradition when it comes to holidays. I'm not.
Yeah,
as long as I eat, I don't care.
I like traditions and stuff. It's just, I guess I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely a little resistant to just having built-in traditions already that somebody wants me to like mold to. But I mean, I'm not against it completely. I just don't want it all. So I want to have. I want to be the house that people come to. I want that. Yeah.
I do too, but even then, I wouldn't consider that tradition because I'd want that to be like, oh hey, Tuesday, come over, I'm cooking. Or
you don't want to send like invitations out and stuff.
Well, it's not like that. It's just I don't want it. I guess what I'm saying is I don't want it to have to be a holiday to hang out with my family.
I hear you. Yeah, well, good.
So whenever we get a house and we have people over, it's gonna be like Monday, a day off, like Memorial Day, like a long weekend. It'll be like, hey, Sunday night, come over. Bring the dogs. Whatever.
You mentioned Houston. I saw that Kanye West is headed to Joel Osteen's church.
He is, and they're both getting flack for each other. Like people who like Joel Osteen getting flack for being with Kanye, and then people who like Kanye are like, "You're really going to go with that guy?" And
I saw the same thing. Somebody was talking about this being a publicity stunt that Kanye does. Everyone thinks that every single action that Kanye has ever made in his whole life is always a publicity stunt, just like Kim Kardashian, and I get that because Kim does do some publicity stunts. But anyway, yeah, I mean, but I saw somebody say that on somebody's page that was excited about it, and they go, actually, I just called Lakewood because I want to go, and what they said was, and why would you pay $55 just to go in, and $255 for a T-shirt for the gospel in air quotes? And this girl said, well, actually, I just called Lakewood, and they're not charging. So. It's interesting, man.
They don't charge. They are built for overflow. Lakewood don't play.
What do you think is the purpose? Is he going to do a Sunday service there?
Yeah,
is he going to preach? Is he going to?
I mean, I don't see any other purpose for Kanye West coming to Lakewood Church, to any church, except to do a Sunday service. If he's going to do a concert, he needs to just get a regular venue. Well,
I know he's been doing. I know some people that went to the Sunday service this weekend. They paid $45 to get in. And then also I saw that Mike Todd, the pastor of Transformation Church, went along with Craig Rochelle from Life Church, and they got to sit back and meet Kanye and stuff. I think that's so cool, man. Like those are the two churches that I've attended in the last couple of weeks, and I just think that God's opening doors for them. I just love it, man. I love what God's doing. I just wonder how Kanye. I've been seeing a lot of posts that say revival's here because Kanye's saved now. Give me your thoughts on that, man, because I think there might be some truth to it, but like I'm not jumping on the revival bandwagon, which is another topic I think we should talk about in the future. Revival.
Definitely.
Noted.
But the revival thing, like he's not, let's say he is sincere in getting saved, right?
Okay. I think that's undebatable, but go ahead.
I do too. But just for devil's advocate.
Sure.
Right?
I like this game.
Let's say he's 100% saved and all this stuff, but he's not out there getting people saved, laying hands on people, getting miracles.
Actually, he is having services where Mike Todd shared. Mike,
do it.
It doesn't matter. He's holding the service. Mike Todd did the altar call this weekend again.
Oh, that's great.
It's cool.
It's not revival because Kanye is saved.
It kind of is because it kind of is though. I don't know because if he hadn't been having this experience with God and then hosting these Sunday services and then inviting more seasoned ministers to handle the real work, the real ministry work, I think it's less about Kanye preaching and more about Kanye being the catalyst.
The catalyst, yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay, but I still wouldn't call it revival.
Okay. Well, I think thousands of people getting saved in odd places is pretty much revival.
No, that's a move of God and everything, but there's just his influence is way bigger. And once his, Sunday services get worldwide like that, then okay. But
so revival's never been worldwide. When you look at historically like records of what people call revival, it's actually never worldwide. Now, one of the reasons I want to talk.
I got a phone call, and I'm not going to answer it. I just wanted to go away. That way we quit making noise. If you'll start over from the revival's never been worldwide. Please. Sorry.
Revival's never been worldwide whenever you look at historical records. Whenever you study it. I did a paper in university that was about revival. That was like one of my last senior papers. And so now the talk I really want to have about revival in the future is not some nerdy revival talk. I want to talk about this idea that there's a revival coming that, in our circles is pushed a lot. This end-day revival. Anyway, that's the topic I want to have a conversation about later. But, as far as what it is, I'm a little turned off to the idea that people just start going, whoa, Kanye saved and holding, I don't like that. I'm a little turned off by it, but I can't deny that there is a shaking and it is moving things in an abnormal, powerful way. And to me, that's sort of what revival is.
I don't know. I'm wary of that because you can take godly lifestyles and the things of God and dumb it down. I shouldn't say dumb, water it down, probably is a better word. Water it down to a level of it's cool. Like everybody do it because it's cool.
Yeah.
Or you can elevate a not godly lifestyle to a level of it's godly, of consecration and separation. And the problem with that for me is that when it's people I don't know, when it's lives that I'm not involved in, it's very hard for me to judge which one it is. So I'm just wary of it all. Like I don't give Kanye too much credit.
You blacked out. You got to say that all over again.
Fun. You're moving really slow. You're blurry. Move really fast. You're super blurry. Okay. I don't know. Can you hear me though?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know. I'm wary of all that because you can take something that's godly and godly lifestyles, the things of God, and water it down to a level of it's cool. It's the cool thing. It's a fad.
Which is what this is for sure.
Not for sure. Because
I like
to think is that he took his ungodly lifestyle and all this ungodly things and elevated it to a level of
but what you're doing is you're separating it like water and oil. I think they can both be true. I think this is cool and trendy right now. Okay.
Well, it's not that I don't think that that's true. I just think that in this instance, it's one or the other.
Okay.
So,
well, clearly. So, are you going to go? Are you going to go see him this weekend?
No, I'm not going to go see him. I wouldn't go to Lakewood if like nobody was there. It's a drive. I'm not doing all that. Again, we're talking about Houston.
Are you throwing shade at Joel or what?
No, it's not Joel. I'm throwing shade at Houston.
Oh.
It's huge and obnoxious, and I don't want to go there.
Fair enough. Well, I'm sure there will be a lot of Tulsa people going to Houston this weekend.
Good luck.
Yeah, I'm not, because that's 8 hours. But anyway, well, I hope that's great. I can't wait to hear what happens with that. We'll see. So, well, listen, I want to talk about relationships before we end. You know, we mentioned traditions in relationships, but I want to start. That's something that happens once you're together. But my question for you is, because I'm out here in this dating world, and I've been
dating life,
looking around, and it's just I want to ask away, buddy.
Do you deny yourself?
What do you mean?
You know what I mean?
Do you want me to answer this question for real?
No, fool. Go on with your thing.
Oh my God. Man, I want to talk about it sort of, but anyway.
No.
So I want to talk about, like, how did you and Haley know you were the one, and did you? Because here's the thing, right? Because I recently have spent some time with a young lady, right? And man, there's a lot of qualities that I really, really want in a woman in her, right? And I feel like the Lord maybe had put the brakes on this particular person. And I just thought, wow, I'm a really rare person, meaning like the way that I act, the way that I think,
you're a rare find.
Yes, thank you, but that's not what I mean. I just mean my interest. I'm a very eclectic, put together collage of interest, and to find someone that has a lot of the same interest, right? I don't find it often in the Christian circles that I've been in for decades. And so anyway,
Decades.
Yeah, or decade, whatever. And anyway, so I just felt like I was like, Lord, I feel like it's a little unfair that I would get to have this opportunity to meet this wonderful lady, and she have so many of the qualities that I'm looking for, and then you put the brakes on it, So I guess, it made me kind of question, like, what is it that I'm looking for? Because I was having this conversation with this particular lady, and I told her about another girl that had reached out to me and asked me out. And she said, well, why don't you go out with her? And, she's a super Christian. And so I just was like,
this girl that asked you out, or the girl that you're talking to now?
The girl that asked me out. And,
super Christian?
Yeah. And
S on her chest.
Yes. And so it's like, man, there's nothing. I mean, she's an attractive person. Like, she's a godly woman. Like, what would, and I just, the point I want to make is, and I think I talked about this with my mom's story, is like, you got to have more in common, right? You can't just be like Jesus. Right. So I just wonder how much you and Haley had in common. And was that the first identifier, or was it just being attracted to each other and then your Christianity, or what was it? Tell me about it. How would you recommend me, from your experience, to know what person is the one?
Dude,
you wouldn't use your experience?
I would not use my experience.
Got it. I figured.
Because my process was step 5.
Whoa.
3, 1, 2, 4. She's the one.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you got her pregnant, or?
No, I didn't get her pregnant. Thank God.
I'm just kidding.
No, that would have been.
It happens.
That would have been a bump in the road.
Hump day?
Yeah, a literal bump in the road. But no. I knew, quote unquote, she was the one.
How? How did you know?
I prayed about it. But
and you had a feeling, or you just like loved her? Did you had these romantic feelings and they overwhelmed you, or what happened? Be vulnerable with us, Ethan. You know what I want to take this podcast to the next level in 2020? Ethan needs to be less harsh and more vulnerable.
I feel like.
Yes, anytime. Right, yes.
I feel like.
You're doing good with starting with I feel like. I'm loving it so far.
I'm having sentiments, okay? That me being harsh has nothing to do with me being not vulnerable. But that's how I feel. So, just being vulnerable out here. Speaking my truth. Anyway,
speak your truth, fam.
Look, I prayed about marrying her after we were already engaged. So that's when I knew she was the one, right?
When you put a ring on it and she said yes?
No, it was after that. That's what I'm saying. Don't do what I did. You definitely want to pray about it before you put a ring on it. But as far as wanting to pursue a relationship with her, as far as she's the one out of these other girls that I did have friendships with and relationships with that I was like, yeah, I'll burn these bridges over here for her. Man, I cared about her. I genuinely, when she was annoying and naggy, cause that, I don't care what anybody says. They're annoying and naggy before you marry them and you just don't want to see it. So
rose colored glasses.
Yeah. Like I didn't have none of that. I just made decisions to not kick her out of my house or walk away from her at school. But that's the thing. I cared about her more than I cared about these other people. And, I mean, I wasn't perfect, but I'm not saying that I was perfect in showing affection or anything like that. I just, when it came down to, do I want to spend my life with this person? Yeah. And then I pursued that. And then I was like, wait, I didn't pray about it. So then once I prayed about it and I also liked her, I kind of put that together and that was like, oh, she's the one. But that's what I'm saying. Don't do what I did. You definitely want to, find a girl that you care about. there's really no other way to put it. I cared about her. When she was upset, I would get upset. When she was happy and laughing and stuff, it made me want to laugh and make her laugh and things like that. It was really basic.
How did being in love feel?
Really rudimentary.
How would you describe being in love? Back then, like before years of togetherness.
For all the gamers.
Okay. Maybe because most of our podcast doesn't game, so maybe a different analogy.
You asked me how I would describe it back
then. Okay. Okay.
When you realize when you're playing a game, right, and you look at the clock and it's like 8:30, 8:45, and you got school the next day, and you're playing your game and you're doing great. And you're like, yeah, you're into it. You're invested. And then you look up and it's 12:45. You're like, oh, I gotta go to school. Yeah. But instead of stopping the game and saving it because you can come back to it later because technology, you keep going because you're riding a high, right? But it's not so much I'm not actually doing anything when I'm sitting there playing games, making Kratos kill all these monsters. Like I'm not actually doing anything. I'm sitting there just moving my thumbs. But because I'm invested in what it's doing, I look at the clock and I'm like, who needs sleep? But that's kind of what that was like. See, because Haley be like, we used to talk on the phone till 4 a.m. on a school night. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, we did. We don't do that no more. But I mean, the energy was different. I think it's better now because back then I'd be like, we'd beat around the bush, we'd make jokes, like we weren't hanging out. The only reason we would talk till 4 is because we didn't spend all day together. Right. Now we literally spend all day together. And it's like, I don't want to talk till 4. I want to sleep.
No question.
Like that. I mean,
you'll be there tomorrow when I wake up. Hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully. But like being in love back then is like not caring about what's going to happen later. I feel like being in love now is being aware of the investment for me. I know it's different for everybody, but for me, like I wouldn't hit her because of the investment that would be. Like she would be afraid of me, or she might leave me. Or
the consequences.
Yeah. And so now being in love, it's like, man, like I like your face, just like stupid things. And there's no rhyme or reason to it, except that I want to make her aware that, I like her. So I don't know. It's kind of, I feel like it's grown.
The feelings or what has grown?
The being in love.
Okay.
I feel like it's grown for me. I don't know about her.
So you think the feelings continue to grow? So some of those intense feelings that you had, you still have? Or it's just more, really? Like when she comes in the room, you just light up like a Christmas tree or what?
Whenever I'm feeling those feelings. Other times I'm like,
you're like your lights go off. You're like a mood ring that the lights changed in a negative color. Oh man.
Like clap on?
Clap off. Yeah, man.
But,
well, I mean,
no,
I like vulnerable Ethan. I like
Huh?
vulnerable Ethan. I mean,
yeah, he kind of just rambles and repeats himself.
no, I think you did some pretty good illustrations with the video games. Because you just don't. It sounded like you just couldn't get enough of her, right? Because you couldn't get enough of the video game. You know, but you obsessed over it.
Yeah, I couldn't get enough of her, so I'm like, hey, you're coming with me wherever I go for the rest of your life. Suck it up.
I saw this. This thing.
Literally what
you said about sleeping and seeing them. I read this thing this week. Somebody posted on their feed, and it said, once we get married, it's all our life together thing. There is no divorce, right? If you get tired of me and annoyed with me, then go to bed. We'll try again tomorrow, right? And I was like, well, this sounds like legit instructions. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely feel that way.
You guys feel like
I'm in it when I said till death. Like I'm into it. I'm like, if you're gonna leave, you better. One of us is gonna die. Like, that's how serious I am about it. I probably wouldn't do it because again, investment. Like, then my kid wouldn't have any parents, right? But the sentiment of it's that serious. It's like death serious. Like, just we don't even say the word divorce. Like, that was some advice that we ran into very early on in our
like, I will divorce you if you don't pick up the trash.
Bro, people do that. We know people.
That sucks.
Like, we know couples that talk down to each other.
That's just not healthy.
You're stupid.
It's not about the word.
Fat,
it's just
ugly. Well, I mean, it is, because I feel like I could tell Haley, like, hey, babe, that's not the smartest thing. But if I walked in and be like, you're stupid, like, it's it's completely different. But yeah, we don't do that. We don't say the D word. That's what they told us. That was the good advice we got from this older couple. Don't say the D word, divorce, and don't go to bed angry. And that's sometimes we have issues with that, because if we're angry at 2 a.m, boy, we're going to bed.
I know, man. You got to wake up so you can feel better and argue again tomorrow. That's a funny piece of advice. Let me share this with some people, and then we can wrap up. We are trying to we got to keep these podcast episodes shorter, so that's our goal. In case you're listening and you wonder why, it's going to be shorter from now on, and so we're going to practice now before we start season 2. But
season 2,
pretty pumped for that. But anyway, I just know this. I want to share 2 pieces of something I got from God, like something that spoke to me from other people. Somebody posted, and it's funny how Instagram posts can minister to you, but somebody posted, don't go out of God to get something that you want, because then you'll have to stay outside of God to keep it. Right. And,
true.
And no shade to this young lady, because really, she's one of the most wonderful people I've ever met. But, at the same time, I felt like the Lord told me to throw the ball. Right. There was this illustration I heard that, like, my dog loves playing fetch. Right. And so, I heard this illustration, right? Cooper, man. Cooper has his own Instagram, Cooper _ Morky EE. Anyway, just funny things. But the illustration that I heard that ministered to me was, just like my dog, whenever he wants to play fetch, he brings the ball to me to play fetch. But then when he gets to me, sometimes he obsesses over it and holds onto it and won't let go.
Holds onto it, yeah.
Like God is sometimes telling you, let go. It's going to be better. Like, let me throw the ball. And I felt like when I heard that, I was supposed to let this idea of possibly pursuing this young lady to go. I was supposed to let it go. And so I just want to share that with other people, because, because when I say, stay outside of God, I'm not saying that this person is not a godly person, because she is a believer that loves God, and she does devotionals and leads Bible studies and all this other stuff. But it is outside of God if it's outside of God's will. So if God leads you to not do it, then it's outside of God, right? And so I just was so encouraged by that, because whether it's money, right? If it's a career, if it's opportunity, if it's friendships, if it's a romantic relationship, like, you want to be led. I think that's one of the most important things I've ever learned in my life, is to manage who I develop relationships with well, because that literally, when I look over the last 32 years of my life, it determines where you go and how you act. Like, it's just the same thing that we've heard for years, right? Bad company corrupts good morals. That's from the scripture. And then, a lot of leadership stuff that you hear is you're the sum total of the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And so who you spend the time with really matters. And so if God doesn't connect you and it's not that type of relationship, or maybe it's just a seasonal relationship, it's not supposed to be a lifetime thing, you just need to, let those things go whenever God says to, because otherwise you just are doing your own will, not God's will. And
that's right.
If I'm God's will, I got to do God's will. And, the other thing is because I really like this person so much, I was tempted to be a little frustrated with God, just being vulnerable. And I was like, man, that's just so stupid and unfair. Like, I've waited all this time. I'm 32. I'm still single. I deny myself. I keep myself pure.
Like, bro, God, come on.
Yo, bro, God, like hook a brother
bro,
up.
God, what's up,
and
bro?
I just felt like he continues to delay what he's promised me, which is to find someone to do life with. And so I was just frustrated. I'm like, you know what, man, I don't even know. I'm just so tired of work, waiting, and so I don't know. It's just, I wanted to encourage people because I know I'm not alone. And matter of fact, I like being single. I think people can't even fathom how I'm continued to stay single for so long. I really enjoy it, right? But at the same time, like, we all get frustrated and grow weary in well-doing, but the scripture in Galatians says, don't grow weary in well-doing or become faint-hearted, because in due season you will reap the harvest, right? So just be encouraged, whatever it is that you're believing God for, or tempted to go outside and make things happen. But you know what I think a lot of the people that I've known in the past decade have done outside of God is actually jump into ministry opportunities that God didn't really open up for them. I completely agree. And I've been guilty of being tempted to do that. And man, it's just, there's no reason to try to speed it up. Like, God's timing is God's timing. And God says in his timing, he makes all things beautiful, right? There is a time and place for everything. There's so many scriptures sticking out to me about timing. And it's just, you just got to trust God's faithful, because he's faithful to deliver the promise that he made to you.
That's right. I mean, that's what I was going to say about, this young lady. Is like, it's not that she's not the one. It's just that she's not the one right now. Or that
I can't think like that, though. I just can't think like that, right? Because you're tempted. Thing? Yeah, because like, for instance, like Abraham, when he obeyed, right? Whenever Moses obeyed, like you just can't take what God says to you and then add to it. Like, there's actually scripture in Genesis that says, do not add to the word of God. So if God says no,
I thought that was in Revelation.
It might be. I don't remember. It's first or last book. Either way, Alpha, Omega,
either
whatever. Yeah, right. And
well, I'm not trying to add to it. I'm just trying to help you with your positive outlook.
No, I just
he's pumping the brakes. It could be because you found her. You're just not ready yet. You know what I mean?
Sure. I mean, that would be great,
just trying
right?
to be positive.
But you can't.
You told me to be vulnerable. I'm trying to be positive.
Listen, I asked you to be vulnerable, and then I came and acted vulnerable too. So.
There we go. We're vulnerable, guys.
This is the name of this episode. Vulnerable Brothers.
Pause.
Volney Brothers?
No, stop.
No, you cannot shortcut freaking vulnerable. Anyway.
Vul guys.
Gross. Yeah, there's nothing you can be. Anyway.
Vulnerable guys.
So yeah, man, because listen, I've been tempted. Like one of the previous relationships I was in, I felt like the Lord said, cut all ties. You know what I mean? Like, don't, break it up, end it. Like, this isn't it. And this person kept acting like, oh, it just means for now. And it's like, in that particular instance, it really for sure was forever, But like, it's just like, if God says don't date that person, that doesn't mean like don't hang out with them for 30 days. That just means like don't date that person. You can't add to what God said. So if God brings something back around, it's kind of like, listen, I hate this phrase, but this is what you're saying. Let it go. And if it comes back, then it was meant to be. And
I guess that is kind of what I'm saying. I hate it too. So I apologize for saying it. I am deeply sorry.
Yeah.
Deeply sorry.
But listen, anyway, all jokes aside, like, just be encouraged, like, whatever it is that you're trusting God for, that you're in faith for, that you have in the desire of your heart, whatever the case may be, whether it be your parents get back together and restore their marriage, your marriage be restored, God bring a partner into your life, freaking that opportunity, or get you into ministry that you've been hoping to be in. Like, God is faithful. Don't get weary in well doing. In due season, God makes everything beautiful in his time, and you just have to trust. And if all you have to do, because it's difficult to do in your emotions, but the best thing I can tell you to do is just get closer to the fire. Like Jesus is a consuming fire. That's what the scripture says in Hebrews, that God is an all-consuming fire. So if you're bogged down with emotions or anything like that, just come closer to the fire, because that thing will be consumed in his fire. So,
oh yeah,
man.
Yeah, I was reading this morning in Isaiah, like right before he starts talking about we're healed by his stripes we were healed or whatever. The very first verse in that chapter says, "Who has believed our report?" And then he starts prophesying about Jesus. Why? Because Jesus would believe the report, right? The report of someone coming and saving and being God's servant and things like that. So you got to believe the report if you want to see the results from the report,
Believe the report of the Lord. Hey, what is the worship song that said the report of the Lord or something? How'd that go back in the day? You don't remember?
I don't know, man. That might be something from Alabama.
Oh, yeah, probably so. That's for sure. It says something like, "I will believe the report of," I don't know. It was whack. But anyway, guys, good.
Just start singing, bro. Just start singing.
But listen, I hope you guys really like this episode. We're going to try to bring it down to 45. If you guys have any topic ideas, please send them to us at Back Pew Pod. Go ahead and subscribe. Thank you for listening. Share it with a friend. We really are trying to build a community. That's something Ethan and I are wanting to do a little bit better in season 2 in 2020. So if you have any ideas to build community, maybe a live podcast or something, I don't know, whatever it is, I want to bring us closer together so we can continue the theme of the Back Pew that we've been trying to accomplish. But I hope you guys are ready for Instagram likes to start disappearing, because they're about to. And I hope you guys
bye.
Like Apple TV Plus. I got it. I hadn't used it yet, but I did get it for free since I bought a new iPhone.
Code. Give me your username and password. I want to watch that Jason Momoa.
I know, me too. That's what I'm going to watch this weekend. But
I'm serious. Will you give me your username?
Probably. Let me check to see how that works. But I probably will. But none of you other podcast listeners. Anyway,
no, we're doing it on the podcast.
Oh, okay. You'd be like, you cannot watch because someone is logged into your account. I'm like, dang it.
Where are they located?
Back Pew. But yeah, man, Disney Plus just dropped today on the 12th. So yeah, Hulu, ESPN, they're taking over the world. Netflix is going out of style. Anyway, continue to love God, love people, man. Seek God. Don't be a stagnant water, right? I drove by this fountain that was kind of freezing because it's super cold out right now. And this thing was water coming over the fountain, but there was some ice there. And it just reminded me, like, don't be stagnant in your relationship with God. Let the water flow, because otherwise it's just stale and
it looks gross.
And yeah, it's just bad. So man, it's just,
you don't want to be stepping in that.
Don't be stagnant, man. Anyway, love you guys. Until next episode, we have one more left. We appreciate you guys. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, be pumped for season 2. Season 2 was the best season of The Flash, Supergirl, Arrow. I mean, come on. You want the good stuff? Come back for season 2, which is, we have one more episode, so don't be confused. One more episode, and then season 2.
Peace.
Peace, man.
Peace, bro.